My name is Craig Young. I work here at Kitty Hawk Kites. I've been here in the kiteboarding department for quite a while now. I now operate the kiteboarding shop at Windmill Point, milepost 15 and a half in Nags Head. I've been riding on power by kites since the early 80s. On water, the very first time I tried kiting on water was in 86 or 7. So I started off actually kiteboarding on land first, using land boards, kite buggies, and snow kiting. And did that probably through the late 90s. Got into kiteboarding itself in the mid-90s when the gear first came out, but it really is at the point that the beginner kites are the same as the kites that the pros are using. They're very simple to relaunch. You've got a lot of depower available for you, so you're very safe in the sport. It's very difficult to hurt yourself unless you just don't take lessons and get out there and just totally make a beginner mistake. The Outer Banks as a place to kiteboard is definitely one of the best places in the world. The miracle here is our constant southwest winds in that 15 to 25 range just about all summer long and even through the fall. Very temperate climate, so that even we can kite all the way up into December if we want to, and I started teaching kiting this year March 15th, so we have a very long season. The sound where we teach in is waist high to chest high, just about all the way through the sound, so you can stand up at any time. And the winds are just very consistent with very friendly shorelines, lots of places to take off, people that are very willing to help you out if you need to, and it's just a great community of kiteboarders here, which is the one thing that everybody comments to us from around the world, because we teach lessons for people around the world. I've got a lot of students in Europe, California particularly, Mexico, Alaska, just all over the world come here to kiteboard because they've tried it everywhere else. And we'll have people that have been out 6, 7, 8 times trying to kiteboard, and because they came to the Outer Banks and experienced our wind and our experience, and of course our instructors, they have gotten up and ridden, and they've been trying for years, literally. And it's just, that's the kind of feedback that we get from people about the area too, that sort of, even though we love it and we know how great it is, it's wonderful to hear everybody from all across the world tell us about what a unique area we've got here and how great this system or this area is. The feeling that I get from kiteboarding is basically nothing that I can relate to anything else. It's a sense of peace and control that you get in no other way, because there is nothing else that you are worrying about. It's not, did I put gas in the boat? Is there enough oil in that mix? That looks a little... You don't think about any of these things that you do in a lot of the other sports. You're not as worried about your gear, this, that, and the other. You're simply feeling the wind on the back of your head and using that wind to power yourself through the water. And it's a very automatic, intuitive sort of process, and it's hard to beat. There are a lot of different things that I do, kiteboarding being on the top of the list now, but I really enjoy getting out, swimming, surfing, do a lot of downriver kayaking. I'm not exactly in the best place for that anymore. I used to live right near Watauga Gorge, and that used to be an every afternoon phenomenon for me, was to go run the gorge. It's like, oh, look, we got a flood, let's go. But hiking, biking, climbing, a little bit of everything. Really have just been into outdoors and adventure sports for my entire life. I'm also a commercial photographer, videographer, cinematographer, been doing that for 20 years or more. And that, to me, is my personal love and sort of a passion. But it's not really what I do, because I am here in this environment kiteboarding, so I can kiteboard every day I possibly can. So that has become really more important, but still do a lot of professional photography. And the great thing is that this being such a wonderful sport, I've had the opportunity to shoot a lot of great people and all the different manufacturers and teams and all the different outings that we do, and the workshops and the adventure events and all the different things that we do during the off season. Get a great opportunity to shoot a lot of people in the kiteboarding scene and the snow kiting scene, and just extreme athletes of every sort of form. In retail operation, you need to be able to deal with the public. To deal with the public in a retail operation in kiteboarding is even a whole different thing, because of course it's an interesting mix of people. We have customers that range from 12 years old to 80 years old, wanting to get into some sort of kiteboarding. We have actually taught kiteboarding people or students from the ages of 7 to 77. So there's a wide range of stuff that you have to deal with. There's also a lot of different things that go on in the retail end of the industry. We have a lot of internet sales and an internet operation. as well as a reservation operation in multiple locations. So it is very key that you get proper instruction so you know how to use your gear, and it doesn't take long. You're talking about a day or two to get yourself to a point where you're proficient with the skills. Now, after that, certainly you need to spend some riding time. But we can keep you safe and teach you everything you need to do, in a 2-day period, basically. And then beyond that, it's just you're enhancing your skills. The other really important thing that's part of that is that if you go ahead and fly a kite on land beforehand, if you get a training kite and you spend time flying in low wind and high wind and all sorts of different conditions, you're going to end up being a lot better off, because then when you get out in the water, you know that you can deal with it. You're going to look at that big old water kite that's getting ready to sling you across the water and know that you've got a level of control, that you can handle whatever that kite puts out to you. And certainly you then learn different things out in the water about flying that kite. It is not exactly the same. But everybody will tell you in the sport, every moment that you spend flying a kite, whether it is on land or whatever the reason may be, that will dramatically help you out in your first water experience and when you get out with that kite on the water. Because your level of confidence is up, you're ready for the sport, and you know what to do if something goes wrong too. And that's just as important as knowing how to pop up on the board, is knowing what to do when everything goes wrong.